Let's combat and fight back with maltracks. The war of the minds, they want control of the masses. And Common Core, they dumb us down in the classes. Without knowledge, we can't gain access. Build with the elders, take notes and write classes. We keep whining on the block, how it's gonna stop? Let's start supporting our own, make their supply drop. We buy stocks, then we buy blocks. Cause we know the truth and we tuned in to Dr. Maat.
A baby Fahodi, a baby to me. Peace to all of my truth speakers and my truth seekers. Welcome to another Truth to Power Talk with your sister, Dr. Maat. Thank you for joining another powerful discussion. And tonight I have with me another powerful guest, but he is no stranger to the community, to the nation, Judge Joe Brown. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Dr. Maat, the judge is in the house.
The judge is in the building, family. You heard him. Take a moment out, family, to thumb up this video. You know how the YouTube algorithms work. The more you engage with the video, the more it circulates, right? And so take a moment out, thumb up this video. Also, family, share this video on all of your social media pages. Sharing is caring. So let's get the word out. The judge is in the building tonight. Also, family, if you're watching my show from another platform, head on over to YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so that as soon as I go live, you will be notified. Also, family, if you've missed any of my Truth to Power talks, don't worry. I have created a Truth to Power Talk playlist on my channel, and I've had conversation with all of our greats, Dr. Malefe Asante, Dr. Wade Nobles, Dr. William Darity, Dr. Julianne Marvel, etc. Okay, so go back and check out those conversations in the chat. And so I see you all in the building. You've been in the building since 7:30. Most of you been waiting for the judge. Look at this, 7:32. I see you, Imhotep Ross. I see Queen Mother, Althea. You all have been in the building since 7:30. Murderland Records, the Melanated Cafe. And I just saw you, brother, at the event. My brother Akata, peace to you. So I see a lot of you are trickling in. Thank you so much. Here they go. They said, salute to the Honorable Judge Joe Brown. That's right. The judge is in the building. All right, family. So tonight's topic is the canine conditioning of Black people. I called Judge Joe Brown about a few weeks ago, and because he and I are both in the buck-breaking film that was produced by our dear brother Tariq Nasheed. And so when I had a conversation with Judge Joe Brown about buck-breaking, he said that he would really liken the relationship between us and white folks to that of a dog and its owner. And I said, whoa, wait a minute, Judge. I said, I have to bring you on the show so we can have a public dialogue about this. And so, Judge, without further ado, can you please explain that analogy that you mentioned to me on the phone? You said it's not buck breaking. You said it's more like a dog and its owner, Judge. So could you go ahead and elaborate on that?
Yeah, see, chattel slavery meant cattle slavery. The difference was that we were considered to be cattle, domestic animals. And they got that down pretty well, and they turned a whole lot of Black folk from wolf to dog. And some of us like our bellies scratched and our ears rubbed and our behinds rubbed right above the tail, and we get kibbles and bits put out there. And the Black caucus, they look like the best trained dogs on the circuits, you know. Mm-hmm. They've been performing a long time. It's like this. Old white man told me one time, this has been years ago. He say, Lawyer Brown, you come in from California. He say, you ain't like some of your people around here. He say, the relationship between white folk and Black folk around here is like people and their dogs. Now, don't get me wrong. They say some folk love their dogs. They's members of the family, and they sit at the table and they beg. Some of them even get a plate put on the table. They say, my wife got a little doggy about that big with a pink ribbon around his head. He get nearer to the nookie than I do on a regular basis. He say something happened to him. He say, you know, everybody get to crying and carrying on. He say, but then, you know, there's this other dogs. They come up, try to crap on your yard. You know, you want to shoo them off, turn the water hose on them. He said, some people don't like no dogs. He said, some people, cats people. He say, but, you know, if you want to make it, you got to be the right kind of dog up in here or something else entirely. They say, you know, them kind of dogs be behind the chain link fence up there in the junkyard, be slavering all over everything. Don't nobody but no fool want to climb that chain link fence, get over there with them kind of dogs. And then, you know, them other kind of dogs, even if they's behind a fence, you walk on the other side of the street. Hell, walk around the block. You don't want nothing to do with a dog like that. Or better still, you be a wolf, scare the hell out of everybody, and at least the wolf can feed itself. The rest of these dogs around here, they can't open up the kibbles and bits lest they running wild, and they don't even do that too damn well. And you know, we got the dog whistles. Here boy, come boy, you know, and we go running up with our tails wagging, you know, and you know, what can we do? You know, give us something to do, boss. Come on, throw the ball for us, boss. And that's what you get. And we have no pride. We get trained up into these things, and we respond to these whistles. And we like our kibbles and bits opened up and maybe add a little water so you can get gravy trained. Now, I'm not like that. And I recognize that some bad things have happened to us in this country. And one of the worst is what we have wound up with as a culture. Some of the culture is very bad for us, but we go right for it because it's identified as being black. It's not. One of the worst developments, I remember I'm on the bench and I'm about to jack this dude up. He's 26 years old. He's gotten this 12-year-old pregnant. He's 13 now, and that's especially aggravated rape. And the defense calls a witness, the girl's mother. Girl's mother gets on the stand, and, you know, I just kind of played it low-key. Well, ma'am, what do you have to add to this? Well, I just want you to know, Your Honor, that I'm the one who asked him to come stay at my place. So you ask him to move into your place? Yeah, Judge. All my friend girls, they say you got a grown woman at your house, 12 years old, and you ain't getting no check. What's wrong with you? You better get her knocked up so you can get a check. So I brought him on in there, Your Honor, so I could get another check up in the house. So I went ahead, and then when I got down, said, now you may step down, but Officer Duckett, would you take her into custody and have her charged as an accessory to especially aggravated rape?
That's
no
right.
Bond will be set, and we'll proceed later with this. Also contributing to. So this dude gets on the stand, and I said, well, what is this? He said, well, Judge, I don't understand. My mama wasn't but 12 when my big brother was born, and she was only 14 when I was born. What did I do wrong? And see, he was following his culture, but his culture is sick. But do you think I gave him some slack? No, I did not.
No.
Because sometimes you don't give slack. You just got to cut the head right on off because it's not worthy of keeping on top of the body. You see, I don't care whether or not some things are cultural. They are not to be done because the cultural things are wrong.
Come on, talk about it, Judge.
So we have to get away from this. Best trained dogs on the circus circuit.
Yes. So Judge,
Black Caucus.
Yes, the Black Caucus.
Some dog Negroes. Bow, wow, wow. Woof, woof, woof. And they got rainbow on their collars now. They're surrogates for the rainbow. See, by the way, we have 3 political parties in America that are effective nationally. 2 of them are official, 1 of them is unofficial. We have the jumbo elephant Republicans. We got the jackass donkey Democrats, and then we got the rainbows. So you can be a jackass in a rainbow or a jumbo in a rainbow. And the jumbos and the jackasses get to clash and then make all this mess and create all this smoke and dust that rises to obscure what they're doing behind the scenes as rainbows. See, they're trying to corrupt us because whereas 55 years ago, we got into getting rid of our personal bad negative image and started doing I'm black and I'm proud, black power, you know. They've forgotten that. So now we've got the revenge of the nerds going on. We have a group of people that hate what they are and hate what they want to be. You had the lesbians who hated men. You had the feminists that
The
hated that they
feminists.
weren't men. You had the soy boys, we call them now, nerds, dweebs, whatever you want to call them. They hated that they couldn't be men. And you had the gay boys that were scared of men. So
Mm.
they all got together, and then they had this big number jumped into this big mix from the anti-war crowd that was saying war is a man thing. So the way to stop war is to change the way boys are raised to men. So if you raise them like girls, they'll emote, they'll cry, they'll shout, they'll let it all hang out and be all emotional instead of being uptight, rational, and under self-control and letting it build up until there's war. Love power. It's all about love. And no, that's not it. So that kind of dropped to the wayside, but now they've taken over the entertainment industry, the news
Yes.
industry,
Yes.
politics, and
Come on.
everything.
Yes.
And then we have an interesting parallel to what happened in Deutschland, that's Germany, back 100 years ago. Instead of some jackbooted, goose-stepping, stormtrooping fascists taking over after they bully boyed their way into the government. And then they started implementing censorship, propagandizing the people to accept the control. You had some pink panty wearing little fascists who switched and twitched and propagandized the country for 50 some years. They took over politics, and now they're trying to change the law so that they can cement their hold to deal with all of this self-hate they want to put on everybody. They don't like what they are, and they don't like what they want to be. They don't want to be men, they want to be girls, but they don't like girls. Because if they like girls, they wouldn't want to be one because they would have too much going as men to help the girls out and vice versa. See, they want to play drag queens so they can get away from some of the things that are so vital and important to being a man. See, when it hits the fan, and that boat is going down, that big boat is out in the middle of the North Atlantic, and you just hit an iceberg and the water's freezing. It takes a whole lot to say, excuse me, ma'am, you may have my seat. Women and children in the lifeboat first. See, these punks don't want to do that. They want to climb in there so they can escape because they don't understand manhood and man's responsibility. Speaking of which, Father's Day is coming up, and happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yes, happy Father's Day.
Again,
yes, happy Father's Day to you, Judge.
Yeah, but you see the new national trend. It's unfair to celebrate Father's Day. What about single parent mothers? And what about same-sex couples? That's insulting to them. To hell with them. Next point you have is we don't need to say mother anymore. We need to say birth parent.
No.
You sick fools going to. Take that over there. I know some shrinks would be glad to experiment on you. So go. Homophobia, no such word.
Yeah, I read that
about 6-7 years ago. Toxic masculinity, 50
years
ago.
50 years ago.
About that. What they call toxic masculinity is absence of masculinity. Nothing toxic about it. See, being masculine means you are about some things that got stuffed in your head. You feel guilty as the devil if you don't deal with them. You're compelled to do with them. Shame attends upon your not dealing with them, and you are about duty, honor, obligation, responsibility, accountability, making where you are a better, safer, more secure place filled with economic prosperity, opportunity, morality, ethics, and sense of purpose. You make where you live a place of public peace, dignity, and order. You are men of peace until you have to be something else because being brave and courageous demanded that you do these other things in order to comply with the man code. See, and then we got it corrupted now. Yo, man, man, I got me 4 ladies take care of me, man. 2 of them got good JOBs, man. One get a crazy check, and the other get AFDC, man. They takes real good to me. So where does that go? Slavery.
Modern
day slavery. You know
Come
what
on.
we're looking at in the inner cities with all this crazy violence? some damn dogs down in the kennel don't know how to act like humans, and they're killing each other off for no damn purpose. And they're too punk ass to get out there and go toe to toe and duke it out man to man. They got to go pop a cap on somebody driving by. That is not man. See, and they're dogs. They're not full-fledged humans, and until they start acting like humans do, which is to take care of where you live.
Teach, Judge, teach.
See, we have problems. We got these dogs out there. They squabble in the kennel master. Bip, 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 bip. You know, and instead of having peace in our neighborhoods that the men impose, they got to bring the police in it, and everybody's whining about that. Hell, if you don't like what the police are doing, take shit over.
Come on, talk about it, Judge.
He ran, he shouldn't have shot him. Well, why the hell didn't he stand there like a man?
Teach, Judge.
And then look at this. Now, I don't want to get on anybody, but let's say we got a holiday named after George Floyd, or a crime bill reform act named George Floyd, okay? Of all the black people to name something after, that's not the right one. Do you know there's only one bill in the history of the United States of America that names a black man or mentions colored, black, Afro, or African American, and that's Martin Luther King's birthday. Now, all of the black men that have been gunned down and slaughtered by police or lynched in the name of law and order. Why we got to pick a 6'7", 250-pound dude that got his ass whooped by a 5'8" tall white boy weighing 135 pounds that killed him without using a weapon? That's goddamn embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
A fatal dose of fentanyl in his system, which is a white folks' drugs, that 62% of those who die of opiate poisoning go from fentanyl. So fentanyl full, 6'7", 250-pound buck black man who got his ass whooped by a 5'8" tall, 135-pound white boy. Now that's ridiculous. And then Juneteenth. You ain't done a goddamn thing for black folks. So these bunches of jackals in the office right now, they're going to give us the favor. They had reparations for gay reparations. I heard. Asian Protection Act. They got Equality Act for the rainbows, wiping out everybody's First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Second Amendment, Fifth Amendment, due process. So they want to give us
Juneteenth.
Now, you know what's bad about Juneteenth?
Come on, Judge, talk to me.
It celebrates Negroes not getting free, just finding out they've been free. Now, most of my 74, well, I'll be 74 in a week or two. Most of my life has been spent where Juneteenth was deliberately not celebrated by conscientious black folk because it was an embarrassment. Juneteenth is June 19th, 1866. The Emancipation Proclamation was the beginning of 1863. All right? Lee got his ass whooped and surrendered to Grant April 1865 at Appomattox Courthouse. Sherman took the surrender of Johnson after Johnson got stomped on in May 1865. Sherman sent some black cavalry troopers down to Texas in 1865 May to announce to all of the colored folk down there that they were no longer subject to slavery. They didn't listen. So in June 19th, 1866, a Union frigate was down in Galveston, Texas. And the captain was looking at all these black folk on the wharves, toting these bales, and somebody had a lash on them. And he sent his executive officer down there to find out what the hell happened. XO came back, said, Captain, they think they're slaves still. So he had to write a letter. So these sorry ass Negroes are in there 3 years and 5 months after the Emancipation Proclamation. They're in there a year and a half after the war was over. And they're in there a year after the 13th Amendment had been passed and slavery was outlawed. And they want to celebrate that shit? Oh, hell no.
Oh, Oh,
And
goodness
then look
gracious.
what happened up here in Oklahoma about Black Wall Street just last week. I said this crap that we have now that's being thrown at us where we're supposed to get back into self-hate. These folk have a gay pride parade, right?
In Oakland, you talking about in
No, no, no,
Tulsa?
no. I'm leading up to it. They have gay
Okay, okay.
pride parades, but they walk around and doing a burlesque. They got their butts out and the penises hanging out and some chaps on and got dog collars on each other and all of this
This is in
perversion.
This is in
No,
San
no, no.
Francisco.
Just listen.
Okay, okay,
This is
okay.
a gay pride parade.
Okay, okay, okay.
All of these fools running around with a burlesque of self-hate. Butt out, penis out, and kids looking like some kind of burlesque freaks deep off into S&M. All right. Now, if black folk did the same thing to show how this is self-hate, we would have a parade where everybody would be dressed up like slaves, doing slave dances, buck dancing, and we would have blackface on and dressed up like little monkeys, and an organ grinder would be going ahead and we'd be capering around. Well, no more than I had done that on my show, mentioned that, and here we go up here in Oklahoma. We got all these colored up there out of the black caucus and elected officials. What they doing? They got slave dances that they're doing, the banjo music and harmonicas, and they're buck dancing down the street, celebrating some black folk getting wiped out, lynched, and burnt out. Instead of having moments of quiet reflection about the horror of the whole thing and that we have let another 100 years go by and not done much of a damn thing for it. See, we haven't done a damn thing hardly, but the masses have given the dogs a little bit more. And you want to get into how deep it is?
Come on,
all
Judge.
This stuff you saw about BLM and
Black Lives Matter
and Antifa out in the streets. It was an extended spring break with some vanilla cupcakes with a little chocolate sprinkling. They were getting unruly to release their tension. And what it was, have you seen these commercials? The polar bear, they're going to extinction. The ice is melting at the poles. And a mother elephant and her calf, there's no stronger bond in nature. We have to help them. And the tiger, once he was king of the jungle, now no more. And poor Al, he's chained out in his kennel in the cold, and he will not know love unless you send $19.95 a month to ASPCA. Help these poor animals. Help the bipedal African animals that were imported and released that are now running wild. You must help these unfortunate creatures to know love. Al, I said, you know what? Go stick it up your mama's, whatever. Ain't me.
So, Judge, let me
get the hell out of my way.
So, Judge, let me.
I don't need a dumbass to do shit for me,
Hey, Judge, so let me ask you this. How are we conditioning? So we know we're conditioning. You said we function like dogs looking for kibbles and bits. Can you explain that process? How do they condition us?
Look at our breeding patterns in the inner city.
All right.
The males, they run around just like they think they're slave studs, so their job is to knock up all the babes they can. The girls are running around acting like slave wenches. Their job is to get knocked up as often, because Massa sure enough wants some more livestock that he can sell, trade, or put to work. Okay, so we all breed with no sense of family. We got, man, I got 27 babies, man. I ain't but 34, man. Or how many children you have? I got 9. How many baby daddies? 7, and they ain't shit, none of them. No way. Okay, see, Massa, I knock now, could ask no compound, Massa. You been good, Bessie. I swear to God, I'm going to tell my overseer to make sure you get extra feed just because you're doing nice. That's helping out our economy around here. Well, I done knocked up 4 gals for you, master. You got 4 more on the way.
Teach.
That's good, boy. Now I'm proud of you. There's one I'm thinking about. You big old buck. We can raise some big strong ones. She's a little snanchy right now, but I'm gonna get that cherry, and we gonna when I get through, I could have cleaned up. You can have right after me. You're doing good work, ball. Doing good work. And see, that's what we do. Problem with our places, the cities, they're like plantations, but the Negroes have no crops to pick.
Come
And
on,
our
talk about it.
so-called leadership is going around trying to be plantation overseers on a plantation with no crop to pick. We got to change up.
And just so, what are you about? I remember when we were on the telephone, you talked about the Democratic Party, and you said that you thought that it was shameful for Black people in 2021 to still be loyal to the Democratic Party. Judge, can you expound on that?
Here, boy, come on over here, boy. Negro, we gonna come on. I want you to go get my newspaper, Negro, in my house shoes. And meanwhile, since we let you going on in there, here's what you gonna do. It's a dog whistle thing. We don't belong to anybody, and I find it irate that Black folk are owned by the Democratic Party. It's come full circle. The Democratic Party was formulated in the early part of the 19th century for the specific purpose of guaranteeing slavery and spreading slavery into the new territories. Now, they got this racist dog sitting up in the White House, Massa Biden.
Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Judge, you said that
Nick was back into the zoo.
Hold up, Judge.
Low down scoundrel years ago.
Hold up, Judge. You said he's racist. You said that Biden is racist.
He's a racist dog. Always been from Delaware.
From Delaware.
Smallest little piss pot state in the country. One year, 25 years ago, I was there to lecture to some female inmates in the penitentiary system, and I was in my 50s, but I was in good shape. So what I did was I ran from one side of Delaware to the other. It was only 7 miles. That little piss-ant state doesn't even have an airport for commercial traffic. You got to land in Philadelphia and get ground transportation to get up in there. And anyway, they got this racist dog named Joe Biden who was introduced at this function. I think it was early 73 by James O. Eastland as the latest yellow dog Dixiecrat. And this low-down scumbag got up there and started talking about Negro children are roaches, and if they're allowed to integrate schools, they will infest them, and you'll never get them out. Negroes are animals, and they make the streets into jungles, and the only way to deal with them is to put them away in zoos. Yeah, I heard that.
Say it, Judge.
Proud that Delaware was a slave state, but he said that means that being a representative from this state, I know how to handle the Negro. I know how Negroes think. Now, nobody had been calling anybody Negro for quite a few years. We were Black, maybe Afro-American, but not Negro. He's calling us Negroes, and he knows how we think. And then the son of a bitch gets up and becomes this thing on that sleazy ass Breakfast Club. If you don't vote for me, you're not Black. Oh, the hell with you, Peckerwood.
Come on, Judge.
Now,
come on, Judge.
Yeah, we love that. So you go back to Chief Slave Overseer. He too broke ass, piss poor, trailer park trashish to be a massa, but he a overseer. And we just love us some slave overs. We feel so comfy with, we get that scratch behind the ears, and we get, treats, and they're strict. They won't let us leap up to wag our tails too much because we're getting out of line. And he's always putting these Negroes in their place. We need to be independents to screw everybody. We got to sell our votes. What the hell are you giving me right now? No damn promises. What if you performed? I'll take the other man's promise because you low down dog.
Come on.
Catchers and masters and dog trainers. You haven't delivered crap.
Nothing. And Judge, let me insert this. What got me, Judge, and I had conversations going on with, family members. And you know, you hear folks saying things like, I just want to get Trump out of office. I want to get Trump out of office.
God.
Both of them are racist. But
No,
I mean,
no,
you know,
let me put it this way. Let me put it this way.
come on, Judge. Go ahead, put it. Speak, give it to me clear,
My
Judge.
business for a half century has been law. And there have been 2 presidents that have done more for black folk in that 60 some years than any 2 presidents. One of them is a Southern boy named Lyndon Baines Johnson, and the other one is a Scotsman named Donald B. Trump.
Wow.
And Trump is a man. He talks shit. We all talk shit. I just said peckerwood, redneck, cracker, and all this other shit, didn't I?
Yes.
But if one of them came in front of me, he gets justice. I'm just saying words. It ain't about what you say, it's about what you do.
Say
So
it,
you have
Judge.
somebody who's been talking about us like we're dogs, called our children roaches.
Roaches. And you
called
voted
us
him in
animals.
office. And you
Yeah,
voted him in
and
office.
he's done horrible deeds. Everybody's all the 94 Crime Act was horrible. That was the least. Then there's the 91 that was really bad. There was the 87 one that was really, really bad. There was the 81 that came up with one rock, you get 5 years in a federal penitentiary. That was bad. And then the 1977 one that allowed the feds to use criminal prosecutions for the specific purpose of financially destroying somebody they didn't like. Now, yeah. And quiet is kept, you know, some of our colored animals that like their bellies scratched.
Yep.
And they like their flea collars put on too. They're so proud of their collars. Looky at my collar. Ain't it shiny? See, it's got all of these rhinestones. Don't I look good in my collar? See, why in the hell are we voting jackass? We ought to be independent. What are you giving me? And see, I've been looking around. I read legislation. I actually read it. I haven't seen any work product from anybody black that's been in there for the last 40 years, except for rainbow stuff. They're supposed to be all
That's all
people.
they did. Thank you. That's all they did was rainbow stuff when Joe Biden got in office. That's all he did. Absolutely.
Somebody said, well, what about Obama? Aren't you proud that he came up with affordable care? I said, he didn't draft that. The person that drafted that, I know personally. He's a white boy, old redneck white boy from Nashville, Tennessee. His family founded Blue Cross Blue Shield. His name is Dr. Bill Frist, and he drafted it when he was Republican Senate Majority Leader. He couldn't get anybody to pass it until the Obama Tang Bush boy decided to get on board, because Bush Bunny's trust fund was an investor in Blue Cross. So he's making money out of it. So now all they did was change the name to make it Obamacare instead of Bill Frist Affordable Care Act. And now it's passed and everybody's happy. And I know from my problems with it, that thing is poison. So his family founded Blue Cross Blue Shield. They're all going to be billionaires before they get 35 now. And we did it. Thank you. And we don't even get appreciation pat on the ass, you know. We get in that kennel, boy.
And so, Judge, let me ask you this. So that's a part of the dog conditioning where you hear folks sound, where you hear our folks talk like white folks. We just want to get Trump out of office. We want to. That's what that was what they kept pushing on the media. And then you started hearing black people chime in. I just want to get Trump out of office. I just want to get Trump out of office. Is that a part of the dog conditioning?
That's part of the conditioning. See, we are particularly susceptible to brainwashing. We don't read enough. We don't get into STEM. We don't think for ourselves. We spend so much time figuring out what somebody's percentages are from the floor. In basketball, we're into football, we're into baseball, we're into every damn thing. Atlanta Housewives or any such poisonous nonsense, Pose or Empire, or whatever poisonous nonsense there is. We don't read, so we are so susceptible to this. Let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you what's dangerous about this mass media. Back in the 50s, I can remember just suddenly wanting a Coca-Cola so badly, or my old man wanted some Chesterfields. You know, he was a smoker. And then they released that FCC had discovered they'd been having these flash subliminal commercials on television. They'd flash on so quickly you couldn't see them in your conscious mind, but your subconscious got it. So they'd flash on
That's right. That's right.
Coke, drink Pepsi, drink Coke, smoke Chesterfield, smoke Cools, and FCC banned it. But don't you think that they don't have more of that in these programs that we love to watch? So we don't read to offset it. We just listen. So we listen to white folk and we get really stupid. We get to talking about white supremacy that, white supremacy this. And then we regurgitate every damn thing the white
Everything the white
supremacists
folks.
have put out there for you to absorb. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? You haven't said a damn thing that's black in the last 45 minutes. And you preaching against white supremacy, and that's all you have in your thick skull? What's the matter with you?
Oh,
And what do we call ourselves? Hey, dog, man, what's happening? That's my
dogs.
dog, man.
Dogs. Dog thinking and dog behavior.
Yeah, and sisters, brothers, ask yourself this question. You can't afford to take care of yourself. You can't afford to take care of the one or two children you had by accident. Why the hell are you trying to have some more that you can't afford? So you condemn them to a life of poverty and hell and matching ignorance to your own. What is your problem? No, we back on that plantation and we want Master to give us some extra compound because we've been increasing his livestock.
Teach. So, Judge, when you and I were talking on the phone, you said there's a difference between buck breaking and the dog conditioning. Can you explain that? Because I didn't quite catch it.
Dog conditioning is subtle. See, dog conditioning, the puppy's mama helps break the dog into being a domesticated dog. The dogs in the kennel break the dog into being a domesticated dog. There's a lead dog in the pack, and the lead dog takes the rest of the dogs along until they learn where they're supposed to go. And you see, buck breaking, that's when you take a wild stallion, Negro, out of the bush. You take him and you want to break him to saddle, but it's hard. You really can't. And by the way, there was a William Lynch, and he didn't write letters. He wrote these pamphlets. And the pamphlets, some of which I had to study for a job, they were on microfilm in the Library of Congress. He said, you raise Negroes and horses the same. You cannot break a wild herd stallion. You cannot break a stallion herd Negro. But what you can is you can break the herd mare. You can break the Negro herd mare. And if you train her, she'll not only reproduce, she will break her foals or break her Negro children to being domesticated. So you must always deal with the senior female, never the senior stallion or male. Deal with the gray-haired, white-haired old ladies, but shame the white-haired, gray-haired old men. Now that buck breaking came in because he prescribed this. He said, when you first get your big crops of Negroes over to your district, let them run wild and see who the ones are who are the natural chiefs. Late at night, when they don't expect it, you fall upon them, chain the two of the top ones up, figure out which one you want to breed. You chop off his foot or something like that. You sodomize him and embarrass him in front of all of the other Negroes. And then you take the one that was the chief, that had made himself the new chief. You strip him naked in front of all of the females and the youth, and you embarrass him. It helps to get one of these crazy folk to sodomize him. You debase him, you torture him, you make him scream and kill him gruesomely, and the females will learn that they cannot depend upon their men to protect them. And there was another thing. He was telling the slave owners that women are selfish. They all want grandchildren because where they come from, that gives them status. So teach them that if they want grandchildren, they have to preserve their sons and daughters into adulthood so they can make grandbabies. And to do that, you make them servile because they'll get bred. We want big, strong back bucks who put on all of this squabbling down in the kennel with each other, but they are obedient. And when you go, they come right away. Pretty pathetic, really. But you see, the solution is man up, woman up. See, you aren't much of anything if you don't have something you're willing to die for that is a matter of purpose and principle. Not going out and dying because you hate yourself and you don't have the nerve to pop the cap on your own temple. You see, that's suicide by cop or suicide by neighbor. Hey, man, what you looking at, man? You looking at me? No, man, I ain't looking at you. You call me a lie fool? I see you looking at me. Man, I ain't looking at you, man. What you mean you ain't looking at me? You see, you calling me a lie, man. Ain't nobody go call me no lie. Look, man, I'm just trying to get on the bus to my JOB. Hell with your JOB. I ain't got one. What's wrong with you? You looking at me? Man, don't move up on me like that, man. I do what I'm going to do, man. What you going to do? Bam. Now you got one dead Negro. And or say no purpose. That's real rough. White boys do it like, oh, my God, Alan, did you hear about poor Oscar? No. What happened? Oh, it was so tragic. Oh, my God. What happened? Oh, you know, he was all going on like, is there no purpose? Yeah, I remember that. Well, oh my God, I just can't say it. It's so horrid. He jumped out of the 17th floor of his daddy's office building. Oh, it was awful.
You got a point, Judge. That's what they do.
What we do is this. Hey, man, you hear about Stomp, man? No, man, what happened? Man, we was over Short Dogs, man. It was cold-blooded, man. We had some fire smoke up in there, man. We was hitting on that glass dick. Man, next thing I know, man, dude was all down on the ground, man. Spit all out his mouth, man. Eyes done rolled up in the top of his head. His heels was kicking, man. When we cleaned shit up, man, we called 911, man, but it was too late. Dude's heart buzz out before they get him to the emergency room. Hey, man, I hope his mama don't freak. Ain't that the second one she done lost this year? See, it's not about getting high. It's about trying to die. Because your sorry ass has no point. Man, I ain't going to live to be 24, man. I ain't got no daylight at the end of my tunnel. Well, so goddamn what, fool? It's your job to get those you're responsible for to the end of the tunnel. You start concentrating on manning up and doing what you're supposed to do. At least you die a hero, and somebody will remember your sorry ass for something other than being sorry ass. So your job is to kill the fire-breathing Gila monsters that are setting flames to the tunnel so the people you're responsible for can get to the daylight even if you don't. I'm
Judge.
so sick of sorry-ass dog Negroes. Act like a black man. And quit voting for these lead dogs that got rainbow collars on up in the Black Caucus that ain't doing a damn thing for you.
For black people, that's a fact. That's a fact. And so, Judge, I'm telling you, it baffles me how black people continue to vote Democrat and hope that they will do something for you. And so, you know how people say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. I said, black people are insane. The Democratic Party has never done anything for you, but you still keep giving them your vote, you know? And so it's kind of like you look at our people, Judge, and you want to remain optimistic, but I say, golly, our people are really insane.
And they got some good white folks. They have some good Negroes. They just need to be managed right. And they need to be saved for themselves. You know, you're supposed to teach a dog how to respond so it doesn't dash out in the street and get run over. Many of us, we dash out in the street and get run over. You know, now gay folk, they got a right to do whatever they want to do. Get their freak on in their bedroom, freak out, enjoy yourself.
Judge said that was a song, "Freak Out." Remember that?
Yeah, get your freak on. Freaks come out at night. But there's a difference between freak behind closed doors limited to those over 21 and you trying to pervert some little children by trying to teach them same-sex sex.
At the elementary school level, Judge, did you hear about the incident
they had about this first grade teacher with the animation showing?
Yes, I saw it.
Can you
I
see
saw it?
Can you
Judge,
see it? Look here.
Johnny,
Judge, I saw go do your homework. Mother, I don't feel like it. Johnny, go do your homework right now. You have to practice. Practice makes perfect. Mama, I've done it 5 times and it's sore. I can't do it again. You know, like what the hell? And see, we can't teach normal sex. We can't even go in. Boy, what do you think it means being homosexual? That means put your lips around the wee-wee and get it up the poo-poo. You know, you can't even tell them that.
Judge, when I saw the animation, I was appalled. Actually, one of my cousins was watching.
Isn't it all?
She sent it to me. She sent it to me in the first grade, teaching that stuff. They have books and all kinds of stuff. They even have dolls now, like transgender dolls. They have little pieces like dildos that you can attach to little children who are trans. I never heard of transgender youth, but they have these objects.
Fuck you gonna be trans? You ain't even had a hard on or a wet twat yet.
Yep.
You don't even know what the equipment's for. Damn.
What you say, Judge? You don't even know what equipment got going on. You don't even know what your equipment. You don't even know.
Working yet.
And Judge, that has always been my thing. Like you said, hey, do what you do. Everyone do what they do, but leave the babies alone. You know, leave the babies alone. You know, don't try to impose your ideas and your lifestyle on children. Let children grow up. Let them develop. Let them make their choices. But don't tell children you don't have a gender. You're binomial. I think it's called. Is it called non-binary?
Hey, look here.
Non-binary or something like that.
It's just the latest round of bullshit. There's some made-up words. Some made-up words that they're propagandizing. 10 years ago, gender was identical to sex. Now they got fluid gender. By the way, you know where else you see the sub effects on that? Is 50 years ago they started trying to debase medicine and science so people would go for that bullshit of fluid gender. They pushed Michael Jackson, aka Michelle Jackson, androgynous Jackson, so that you would get used to fluid gender. You watch 30-year-old Star Trek, Next Generation, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, and you start seeing all of it where the characters morph and change sex and gender role from time to time. I mean, but yeah, somebody says they can teach all that bull, but want to legislate that slavery shouldn't be taught in school. Okay, that's another thing that's dangerous. This critical race theory.
I heard about that, Judge, that they're trying to ban.
What the problem is with that is it's like white supremacy. White supremacy is real, but white supremacy is just basically adversity. So the way they want to teach it, even those colored folk that want to teach it, is it gives the kids an excuse to not try. Why should I try, man? White supremacy gonna keep you down. Well, yeah, but white supremacy is an adversity. And one of the things that we used to call adversity, we call Simba, that lion on the Serengeti. But we didn't go hide in our hovels in a village compound to get away from Simba. We made it a rite of passage. Boy, if you want to be a man of the tribe at 13, you have to take a wooden spear with no iron head and go kill you a Simba. So now Simba's an endangered species, but not people. We conquered adversity. But you see, they keep throwing white supremacy out. And what they teach in critical race theory is something to get us to stop trying. They psych us out, man. Psych dude out, man. He didn't even have a chance, man. Might as well not run him 400 meters. They put that psych game on him so tough, man. He didn't even go in there thinking he had a chance. Ali used to do it. Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. He'd psych out his opponents before the fight even started.
And just someone in the chat asked a question. They said, what legislation? And let me bring up his question. I want to make sure, brother, that I get your question because we were talking about Trump. Okay, brother Robert Reed. He said, can we go back to his statement that said Trump was one of the 2 presidents that did more for Black people? So a few people in the chat, they're saying, what did Trump do for Black people? What legislation did he pass for Black people?
Okay, let me start back a few years. He got the finance together for Jesse Jackson's 2 runs for U.S. president. He got his offices together. He was always helping Black businessmen when nobody else would give him a loan. And if you got yourself successful, he didn't want it paid back. They used to hang at Black clubs all the time. Every Black rap star and athlete was trying to be Trump's friend. He even had him a bad sister for a fiance before he married this last wife of his. They went everywhere together. So, I mean, let's say on executive orders, most money transferred to historically Black colleges and universities ever. Okay. Let's put it this way. More pro-business legislation approved and executive orders that had to do with the expenditure of funds that were usable for that than ever. Hell, he was going to make Juneteenth a national holiday too. We had our Muhammad Ali, and my parents had Jack Johnson. By the way, the FBI came into existence to get Black heavyweight champion Jack Johnson in jail because they didn't like him flaunting these white women going across interstate lines. That came up with the Mann Act. So that poisonous institution came in to get the one Black man down. And that meant a lot to people in the generation before me because he thumbed his nose at the white folk and said, I can whip your ass in the ring too. So screw you. So they busted him. He had a white wife. He may or may not approve of it, but it wasn't against real law. But Georgia did not acknowledge interracial marriage. So when he and his wife crossed Georgia for 15 minutes, what happened is that as soon as they got outside Georgia, federal agents got on and busted him for a crime, and he stood trial, got convicted. He escaped, and his crazy mama kept begging, baby, I want to see you one more time. So he tried to sneak back in the country. They caught him. He wound up having to do his time, and he died in an automobile wreck in 1946. Somebody says Trump did nothing. What about Black identity? Oh, God. See, you know what? In politics, you cannot afford to have that kind of mindset. Politics is about effective business. In other words, what the hell can you do for me if I help you? Now, if you want to see a picture of it, communist Joe Stalin in the picture with Democratic Franklin Delano Roosevelt, with monarchist Winston Churchill, all sitting in conference, photo op as it is, to show unity so they can take down Adolf. That's what politics and diplomacy is about. All this crap about, I don't like what he said. Well, bottom line is aside from the HBOs, like somebody pointed out in the first 100 days, don't forget officers getting promotion in the military. Don't forget a few other things. Don't forget about appointments to federal positions. Don't forget about some of the changes that were going to be beneficial for us. And for example, all of the young Black folk, men and women who have joined the services and they're over in the Middle East, their main source of danger is IEDs, improvised explosive devices. So they have this thing called a Rhino. It is essentially a mine-proof vehicle. Depending upon how it's configured, you can get between 6 and 12 men and or women in one. So to get one of these rainbow folk, a sex conversion job, the price that you pay is roughly that of 2 rhino vehicles. So that's anywhere from 12 to 20 some young people who are put in risk of getting killed, maimed, or mutilated. Now, the people that get this spent for them, they spend most of the time in surgery or recovery, not serving. So what is the point? Why are they putting these people in? By the way, why do we have a lot of this other stuff where at the expense of black folk, you got rainbow color stuff in there, not red, black, and green. You got the rainbow. Well, he was cutting that out. That meant more money for us. He was talking about infrastructure for us. There's a whole list of stuff. So I'm not tooting Trump. I'm just saying, for God's sake, what the hell were you going to get out of
Biden?
Sailboat Clinton.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton.
Finger up where the wind's blowing, and that's the way she's gonna go. Or Maxine Waters. You know, what are you gonna get out of her? I saw her at the first campaign kickoff years and years ago. I was still a student. Anyway, I went to the kickoff. She's walking around in this white string bikini at a pool party, trying to keep from popping out of her top too many times. Everybody else had on business suits or coming from school. I mean, come on now. And then what is your idea? What have you proposed for black folk that has done a damn thing for us, woman? Nothing. So it's game. See, trot out your pet dogs and promise them some more kibbles and bits and a few milk bones and bacon bits, and they'll do anything you want them to do. You see, one of the political ploys that every other ethnicity pulls off all of the time is just en masse vote against the party that expects you to vote for them. Don't care whether they did anything good or bad, just so they don't get too comfy with you. You don't miss your water till your well runs dry. We need to deal with that. And go do a homework assignment. Forget all this mainstream media. Forget CNN, Crying Negro Network. You know,
Crying Negro Network.
So happy. Oh.
Judge, did you just say CNN is Crying Negro Network?
Exactly. They got one of their favorite little sweet Negroes, Don Lemon. I guess his white husband.
Yeah, white husband. He's married to a white dude.
Yeah, his white husband wasn't taking care of business. He got too many mood swings, and they got Don Lemon. They ground up Van Jones's little booty to make the tea, squeezed out Don Lemon's booty to add some lemon juice to it, and then squeezed out Anderson Cooper to add a lot of sugar.
Judge, I knew this was going to be hilarious because I've watched you for many years, and every time. Judge, I mean, you give it to people straight, but it's you don't try to be funny.
You need to take it straight. Why the hell I gotta be nice about somebody trying to mess you over?
That's right, Judge.
Trying to whip your ass, put you back in the goddamn slave pen, and you want me to be nice to him?
Right,
See,
right,
that's
Judge.
What's wrong.
That's what's wrong.
Put sugar on every goddamn thing instead of taking it like it is.
That's
deal
right.
with what you're dealing with.
That's right. That's right, Judge. And I love your straightforward approach.
Yet we got a fight to go because we got to get rid of the pimps, hustlers, the snitches, the informants, the undercover agents and operatives before we can have unity. Otherwise, we just give them an opportunity to do us in. We got to have a fight, and whatever's left standing, then we can unify.
That's right. No, that's you're 100% right. But Judge, your delivery is hilarious. I just had to say that. I love that you give it to us straight, but your delivery is just hilarious. Shout out to Ebony. Ebony, she said people think Trump didn't do anything for black people. Well, that is his point. None of these presidents have. So why don't you register as independent? My family will tell you. I've said it. Why aren't we independent? Why are we loyal to two parties that don't operate in the interest of black people? So, Judge, my last question to you is this. Because someone in the chat room asked, they said, what are his thoughts on Kamala Harris? Because we talked about Biden, but we didn't touch on Kamala.
A fake.
She is.
See, here's how all this stuff started. Her birth certificate. My ex-wife was born within the same 12-month period at the same hospital in San Francisco, so I know what the things look like. Where it says race of mother, she puts in Caucasian. Where it says nationality, there's no entry. For father, where it says nationality, there's no entry. And where it says race, it says Jamaican. Now, I know, well, hell, friend of mine, he's married to a Jamaican woman. She's born in Jamaica, but she's blonde-haired, blue-eyed. Her parents were born in Jamaica. They're blonde-haired, blue-eyed, but the grandparents are English nobility. But you see, Jamaica was part of the British Empire and then part of the Commonwealth. So you have Asians from Singapore and Hong Kong. You've got Fiji Islanders. You've got people from New Zealand and Australia. You have them from Pakistan and India. You have them from Nigeria and Kenya and South Africa. You see, you got a big mix, and everybody got that patois, man. You got to go to the island, man, you know. And doesn't mean that you're white. And see, you know what Kamala Harris is? Her anthropological name is Indo-Aryan. Yeah, Aryan. You know those Aryan, blonde-haired, blue-eyed supermen that the Nazis were talking about? Well, they lied. And you tell a lie long enough, loud enough, you get anybody to believe it, including the foolish Aryan Brotherhood and, you know, that whole 9 yards worth of neo-Nazi crap. They think they're blonde-haired, blue-eyed, but not. They look like Kamala Harris. She is an Indo-Aryan, a.k.a. Tamil Hindu Brahmin. Now, she's got her father has a grandmother that Kamala wants to call black, but the father says she was a Hindu housewoman. She wasn't black. He said, I don't have any black in me. I've got Hindu Brahmin caste and some Irish. And the Irish folk, they own slaves and plantations. So, yeah, her daddy called her a liar and a fraud. Now, the online edition of the magazine article he wrote, they've cleaned it up and they took a lot of that out. But you see, by the way, why are we following Mrs. Imhoff? Do we want her that badly? Who's Ms. Imhoff?
Tell me, Judge. Nope. Tell me, Judge.
Mrs. Imhoff is Kamala Imhoff, because Imhoff is her married name. She's married to a rich Hollywood Jewish lawyer.
Yes, he is.
And she adopted his 2 Jewish children. So that wouldn't have come across too well now, would it? No. So you see, she copped out on her own people, which is punk ass, like our punk ass dog representatives in the Black caucus. She punked out for the Hindu folks she's supposed to be pushing. Oh, she says she's an Asian now, which is what they call Hindus from India. And she's only black when it suits her. See, she was born in San Francisco.
Say it, Judge.
She therefore is an American citizen, but she grew up in Canada, and a yearbook mentions, under her own words, kindergarten through 12th grade. And what we have is the alpha went down and she played the game. She wanted a scholarship to Howard, which she got.
Teach, Judge.
And she hung out with the frats and the sorority.
The sororities.
Yeah, but you see, the AKAs, my mother was an AKA, so I ain't bad mouthing them. She's Ivy behind the wall. She's been dead for a long, long time. But bottom line is just because you're an AKA doesn't make you black. And even if they want to brag about, we got the first vice president out of any black Greek organization, you're dead wrong, because white boy, bald-headed, blue-eyed Hubert Humphrey, vice president of the United States under LBJ, and Democratic Party presidential candidate against Tricky Dick, I am not a crook Nixon, was a white boy who became an honorary grad chapter member and had earlier in the 30s been made at an undergrad chapter up in Minnesota. So you're not even first on that. And by the way, we even forgot what those fraternities and sororities were about. It wasn't about partying. What they were supposed to be doing is masquerading as Black Greek organizations all in the party. And it was supposed to be an underground back at the first part of the 20th century to fight segregation / American apartheid. And the pledging was hard. because what they were trying to find out is if you were tortured by a sheriff, would you tell on everybody? Now, classic example, Emmett Till got killed. They called 2 black lawyers from Memphis, A.W. Willis and Russell Sugarman. Both of them were alphas. They got an old man, well, he died. We called him Old Man Withers because he was old when he died, a photographer, black photographer, also one of the first black cops in Memphis. His name was Ernest Withers. He ran down with a camera and some film. He took 6 rolls of film of Till's body, didn't even develop the stuff. And Russell took off with half, and A.W. took off with half. A.W. got captured. He told me they tortured him for about 12 hours before he escaped. And he met up with Russell in Illinois. They got the film developed at the Walgreens and took it to the governor. And he said if it hadn't been for pledging hard, he might have broke. But he said the sheriff wasn't as rough as his line brothers wasn't as rough as the dean of pledges and the big brothers were. So he could handle it. That's what it was all about. Now these punk asses, you can't push them without them really screeching like they lost their dicks or something. Oh, I'm being hazed, punk ass. Take it like a man, get beat around. This is for real, fool. That's why we had 4 black frats and 4 black sororities. So you split it up like a revolutionary organization. So you couldn't get everybody. But they want to make it just party now.
Yep, they want to make it just, it's like a social club now, Judge.
And then some damn fool at a graduation ceremony, he had a mortarboard hat on, pink, and some high heel sandals.
I saw that.
It's as hell, and somebody needs to jack his ass up and snatch his paraphernalia. I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
I saw it. I saw it. Look,
I'm an old man. That thought escaped. It just died.
Judge,
I didn't say that.
Look, I saw it. I saw it. I saw the picture. I saw the picture floating online.
That back. That paraphernalia is not to be worn by that kind. Manly deeds, scholarship, love for all mankind. That ain't manly deeds.
Well, Judge, I want to take a moment out just to acknowledge my Aunt Pachelle and Luther Elliott. When I told my uncle you were coming on here, he was ecstatic. And I put up his comment. He said he's always been like this. I've been watching Judge Joe Brown for years. So he was ecstatic about you coming on. So I just want to acknowledge them. I want to say happy Father's Day to my Uncle Big Buddy. And also, Judge, family in the chat, I want you all to type happy anniversary to Pachelle and Luther Elliott. They'll be celebrating, I think, 25 years next week, next Friday. They got married in 1994. So hold on. What is that, Judge? 1994. We're looking at 27
25 years.
Yeah,
27 years.
Yeah, 27 years, family. So just a big, go ahead and bless them, family. Happy anniversary to them. Throw that in the chat for me. And I wanted to say that live on air. But Judge, before we close out, getting ready to close out, do you have any closing words for the listening audience?
Yeah, stay focused. Man the hell up. Do what you're supposed to do. When you do that, you'll sleep at night. You will have self-direction. You will have pride. Remember, teach yourself, teach your children, teach the neighborhood. Men yield their seats in the lifeboats to the ladies. It's our job to protect womanhood and promote manhood. Father's Day is coming up. We got to do what we got to do. Stay strong. There's one thing about being alive. You ain't getting out this motherfucker alive. So if that's going to happen, you might as well go for a good purpose, because when you get old, it's very little time between when you were 25 and when you're 75. It seems like it goes so fast. So you might as well do the right thing. Yeah, you might get held back, but sooner or later something will come up where only somebody who is a person of principle is going to be somebody that can fill that position. There are consequences to everything. So make your choices so that when you're dead very soon from now, the way it's going to look to you when you get very close to that final chapter being closed and all that's going to be written gets written in that book, you can say, I was a man. I did what I was supposed to do, when I was supposed to do it, how I was supposed to do it, and I'm glad I did, and I had a good, exciting life. I'm not sorry to get out of here. Now, happy Father's Day to all of the real fathers, the ones that want to be fathers. And with this last little phrase, if you can't be father to the one you love or the ones you love because of circumstances, be father to the many, and it might spill over onto yours.
Ashe. Family, I gotta drop a ball for Judge Joe Brown.
And one last thing.
Yes, sir.
Quit wasting your money on bling. Go buy some bang and learn how to use it.
That's right. And
they
Judge,
got some dogs running around loose that don't know how to be men. Your job is to protect you and yours and your community from rabid dogs.
That's right.
So arm yourself.
That's right.
Effectively, and learn how to use it.
That's right,
and
Judge.
Mothers, put your sons in some martial arts courses if they aren't too old.
Ashe. So, Judge, look, let me know when you want me to come on your platform. I know you and I were talking about you coming
next
over
week.
here.
Just drop me a text. The number is 929-477-1167.
I got you, Judge.
929-477-1167. And call in, dial 1. When you get press 1, and you can get in the mix. We go from 4 to 6 Eastern Daylight. If you're already on, we got a free for all the last hour that may or may not come up. We are carried on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all kinds of other stuff. Just check us, Google us, and if they aren't blocking us for that time, it's Judge Joe Brown and Valerie Denise Jones. You can also find me on Twitter as Judge Joe Brown TV, and I do not have a blue check, at Judge Joe Brown TV. Now, other thing, Judge Joe Brown Barbecue. You be the judge. It's some good stuff. We've got seasoning, we've got sauces, regular, OG, and hot. We've got chicken links. We will have Beyond Meat links. We have all kinds of products. We're patenting some cookers, pits and stuff like that that'll let you really make this stuff like it's supposed to be made. We've got one I like. You can put it on when you leave in the morning, and your queue will be ready when you get back home without having to worry about it being burnt, scorched, anything like that, or burning your kitchen up. But anyway, we've got some good stuff. And that said, last announcement, JJB in 23, Judge Joe Brown for mayor of Memphis, Tennessee in 2023. I'm going to make that the new Chicago for the 21st century.
Beautiful, Judge. Beautiful. So, Judge, I'll be in touch with you, and I'll definitely call into the show and chop it up for you. Judge, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, because family, tonight, he actually was on his show, on his platform. And then, so you were on your platform for a few hours, right, Judge? Like right before this. And then he jumped on here with us. So he's been kind of all over the place, and he's been going nonstop. And so I want to thank you, Judge, from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with me and my listeners tonight. Judge, I will be in touch with you, family. Join me back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have Dr. Batu Shikari coming on to talk about whether or not Black people should be celebrating Juneteenth. And you heard what Judge Joe Brown said. Oh, you heard what Judge Joe Brown said. Judge Joe Brown said we shouldn't be celebrating it. And I got a feeling that Judge Batu Shikari is going to be saying the same thing. So join me back here, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, family. Peace and Black power.
Let's combat and fight back with maltracks. The war of the minds, they want control of the masses. And Common Core, they dumb us down in the classes. Without knowledge, we can't gain access. process, build with the elders, take notes and write classics. We keep whining on the block, how it's gonna stop? Let's start supporting our own, make their supply drop. We buy stocks, then we buy blocks, cause we know the truth and we tuned in to Dr. Maat.
See the